So in this video, I will teach you how to find the value of electrons, protons, and neutrons. Finding the value of proton, electron, and neutron, the first and foremost na meron ka dapat is to use a periodic table. You need to use a periodic table because it is where we can find the atomic number of an element. Okay, so why do we need to find the atomic number of an element? So you always take note that atomic number is also the value of the number of protons of a specific element. Example that we have an element boron. So the symbol of boron is letter B and the atomic number of boron is number 5. So boron as atomic number 5. So you always take note to find the value of proton with the positive charge. The number of proton is equivalent to the number of the atom. So whatever is the atomic number is also its number of protons. So meaning to say, if boron's atomic number is 5, then how many protons does a boron have? Ilang proton meron siya? So ang proton ng boron is equivalent to 5 number of protons. Because you always take note, for you to find the value of proton, it is also the same with the atomic number. It is as easy as that. Another example. So for example, I have an element F which is fluorine. So the atomic number of fluorine is 9. So pang 9 siya sa periodic table. So if the fluorine's atomic number is 9, then what would be the number of proton for fluorine? So since sabi natin kanina, whatever is the atomic number, that's also the number of its proton. So if the atomic number of fluorine is 9, then the number of protons of fluorine is also 9. O, diba? Ang dali lang. So, yung atomic number is also the number of proton. Now, what if ang itinatanong naman sa'yo is to find the number of electrons of a specific element? So, paano naman natin ngayon malalaman ang number of electron? Okay, so can you still remember this? Sabi natin, proton has a positive charge and electron has a negative charge. Ngayon, anong pinagkaiba ni proton at ni electron? So, sa proton at sa electron, ang pinagkaiba lang nila is that they have different charges. So, positive, yung isa, negative. But, if we take a look on the number of the electron and proton in a neutral state, when we say neutral, yung element natin is in neutral. Yung balance lang. So, in a neutral state, you always take note that proton and electron would be of the same number. So, example, boron has atomic number of 5. So, if boron has atomic number of 5, then the value of proton, the number of proton of the boron is 5. Now, kung ang proton ni boron is 5, in the neutral state of boron, its electron will be also 5. Saan lang sila nagkaiba? In the sign of positive and negative. But the value of electron and proton will be the same. Kailan lang sila magiging parehas? Kailan magiging parehas ang number ng proton at electron ng isang element? If the element is in a neutral state. Neutral, ibig sabihin, balance lang, there will be no giving off and there will be no receiving of electrons. Let's have another example. So for example, I have an element aluminum and the atomic number of aluminum is 13. Then, what will be the number of proton and the number of electron of the element aluminum? So since aluminum is in a neutral state, then the number of proton will be 13 and the number of electron would also be 13. Parehas silang 13 because aluminum is in a neutral state, and you always take note that whatever is the proton, that is also the number of electrons. It would be as easy as that. The number of proton is also the number of electrons when the element is in its neutral state. However, there is what we call as ions of positive and negative ion. So ion is I-O-N. The positive ion is called cation. And the negative ion is called anion. So yung ions natin makes electron and proton that's not the same. So sabi natin kanina, the proton and electron will always be the same if and only if that the element is in a neutral state. So ito na ngayon sasabihin natin na paano kung hindi neutral state yung ating element. So if the element have the ions of cation or anion, magkakaiba ngayon yung ating proton and electron. For example, we have an element Mg, magnesium. So yung magnesium natin has an ion of positive 2. So meron siyang cation na positive 2. Ngayon, kapag ang isang element natin ay may present na ion, so this is what we call as ion, and to be specific, we have cation because it's a positive 2. Ngayon, kung may present na ganito yung ating element, yung number of proton natin and number of electron natin will not be the same. Now, for example, magnesium has atomic number of 12. Now, if the atomic number of magnesium is 12, what will be the number of proton of our magnesium? So, yung magnesium natin has a number of proton of 12. Kasi, the atomic number of magnesium is 12. Then, yung number of electron natin ay hindi magiging kaparehas na 12. But hindi kaparehas because there's a present ion or cation in the magnesium which is positive 12. Ngayon, if your ion is cation, ang gagawin mo sa yung number of electron is to subtract 2 with your atomic number. So, ang tatandaan mo para hindi ka malito kapag positive, minus. So, kung ang ating atomic number is 12, minus mo ngayon yung present mong cation which is 2, we have 12 minus 2 is equals to 10, and that would be your answer for the number of electrons. Kailan mo lang gagawin ito? So, gagawin mo lang yan if there is a present ion in your element. So, since meron akong positive to dito, kailangan yung electrons, babawasan ko kung ilan yung nakalagay na ion. Since it's a positive 2, then babawasan ko yung electron ko ng 2. Gagawin ko ba siya sa proton? No. So, yung pagbabawas natin ng ions ay gagawin mo lang sa number of electrons. So, ito yung sinasabi natin na hindi magkakaparehas ang number of protons sa number of electron if there is a present ion in your element. So, let us have another example. Okay, so for example, that you have an element oxygen. Okay, oxygen has an ion of negative 2. So, meron tayo ulit present na ion. And to be specific, it's an ion kasi it's a negative 2. Ngayon, in making the number of proton and number of electron, alamin mo muna yung atomic number of oxygen. So, the atomic number of oxygen is 8. Now, if the atomic number of oxygen is 8, what will be the number of your proton? So, if the atomic number is 8, the number of proton will be also 8. Now, what will be the number of electron? So, since ang present nating ion is negative 2, so dahil negative 2 yung present natin na ion, sa kabaliktaran, i-add mo yung present mo ion sa number of your electron. Kanina minus natin kasi positive ion. Ngayon, kung ang given mo naman is a negative ion or an ion, ang gagawin mo sa electron is to add. Add the value of ion to the number of your atomic number. So, if the atomic number of oxygen is 8, and you have an ion of 2, i-add mo ngayon yung anion mo. So, we have 8 plus 2 is equals to 10. Then, your answer for the number of electron will be 10. Gets? So, ang tatandaan mo lang, if you have an ion, negative, ang gagawin mo is to add. But if the given is cation, or positive ion, then you will subtract. Yan. So, yan yung tatandaan mo if there is a present ion. Pero kung wala namang present na ion, just stick with the number of proton is the same with the number of electron. Pero, kapag may ion na kagaya nito, if the ion is negative, add. And if the ion is positive, then subtract. Example. So, what if you are given with the element P or phosphorus? Then, phosphorus has a cation of 3. So, meron siyang positive 3 sa taas. Ngayon, you are asked to find the value of its proton and the value of its electron. So, parehas blanco. So, you are to give me the answer of the number of proton and the number of electron with the element P, positive 3, or phosphorus with positive 3 ion. Ngayon, syempre, ang una mong alamin, ano ba ang atomic number ng phosphorus? So, phosphorus has atomic number of 15. So, if phosphorus has atomic number of 15, what is the number of proton? So, the number of proton is also 15. How about the number of electron? So if you have a cation in your element, anong gagawin mo ngayon sa electron? Would it add or subtract? Since it's a positive ion or it is a cation, then subtract 3 with the number 15. So 15 minus 3 is 12. And that would be the number of electron for the phosphorus. Ngayon, alam na natin kung paano malaman ang number of proton and number of electron. So ngayon, alamin naman natin how to find the number of neutron of an element. To find the value of neutron, look for the atomic mass of an element. You find the atomic mass of the element, the first thing that you should do is to round the atomic mass to the nearest whole number. So, meaning to say, kailangan yung atomic mass na gagamitin mo para makuha ang neutron ay dapat naka-whole number at walang decimal point or decimal places. For example, again, I will use the element boron. So, boron has an atomic mass of 10.811 grams. So, for me to find the value of neutron, kasi yun yung gusto nating malaman na value. So, para malaman ko ang value ng neutron, ang kailangan ko munang gawin is to round the atomic mass to the nearest whole number. So, when we say whole number, kailangan walang decimal point or decimal places ang isang number. So, kapag ni-round natin siya, so since after the decimal point is 8, at ang 8 ay nai-round pataas, so meaning you have to add 1 to the number na nasa unahan. So, from 10.811, so my whole number will become number 11. So, yung ating sagot sa whole number ng 10.811 will become 11. Saan galing yung 11? Since ang kasunod na number niya is 8 at ang 8 ay pwede nating i-round pataas, then we add number 1 to 10. That's why it become 11. So, since alam na natin ang whole number ng atomic mass ng boron, pwede na natin ngayong malaman ang number of neutron. Paano nga ba natin malalaman ang neutron? To find the value of neutron, your mass number the mass number of the element will be subtract with the number of proton. So, to find the value of N or neutron, yung atomic mass natin ay ima-minus natin sa number ng proton. And that will give you now the answer for neutron. So, what is the mass number of boron? So, ang gagamitin mo na ngayon is yung whole number na 11. So, we have 11 grams minus the number of proton. Paano malalaman yung number of proton? Look for the atomic number. So, kung ano yung atomic number ni boron, which is 5, so that is also the number of proton. So, we have 11 grams minus the number of proton is 5. And that will give you an answer of 11 minus 5 is equals to 6. And the answer for the number of neutron is 6. So, yung boron natin, the element boron has a proton of 5, an electron of also 5, and neutron of 6. Again, paano natin nakuha yung value na 6? We subtract the mass number with the number of proton, and that gives you the answer for the neutron, which is 6. Another example. So for example, meron akong element Na, which is sodium. The atomic number of sodium is 11 and the atomic mass of sodium is 22.98. So you are asked to find the value of proton, find the value of electron, and find the value of neutron. So, ito lang yung given mo. Sodium of atomic number of 11, atomic mass of 22.98. Then, you are to find the number of proton, electron, and neutron. So, dun muna tayo kay proton. So, anong sagot natin sa proton ng sodium? Since the atomic number is 11, then your answer for proton is 11. Saan galing? Because proton is also the atomic number. Next, how about the answer for the number of electron? May nakikita ka bang ion? Is there a positive ion and a negative ion sa sodium? So dahil walang nakalagay, then the proton will always be the same with the electron. So yung sagot natin dito would also be 11 because there is no present ion of cation or anion in the element sodium. Next, how are we to find the value of neutron? So to find the value of neutron, subtract the mass number with the number of proton. But since the mass number is in its decimal place, kailangan mo munang i-round ang ating mass number to its nearest whole number. So, ano yung equivalent value niya na naka-round? So, since 9 naman yung kasunod niyang number, so we can add 1 to the number before number 9. So, kapag ni-round natin, yung 22 natin magiging 23 grams. So, yung ating rounded mass number will become 23. And to find the value of N is equals to mass number minus the number of proton. So, yung mass number natin is 23 minus the number of proton is 11. So, the answer for neutron is 23 minus 11 will have 23 minus 11, we have 2, 1, then the answer will become 12 neutrons. So, yung answer natin for this is sodium has 11 proton, 11 electron, and 12 neutrons. The question is, paano kung wala kang periodic table na ginagamit at ang tanong sa'yo is to find the value of the atomic mass. Ibig sabihin, yung mass number naman ang kailangan nating hanapin at wala kang dalang periodic table at ang meron ka lang ay given natin na to find the mass number. So, how can we find the mass number? Just to find the value of mass, even if you do not have the periodic table, ang kailangan mo lang gawin is to the number of your proton plus the number of neutron. So, kung ano yung number ng proton mo, just add it to the neutron and it will give you the mass number. Example, gamitin ulit natin si boron. Boron has an atomic number of 5. At, ang sabi, alamin mo daw kung ano yung atomic mass. So, for example, the neutron of boron is 6. So, what will be the value of your mass? So, to get the mass number, just add your proton, which is 5, from the atomic number, with the number of neutron, which is 6. So 5 plus 6 will give you an answer of 11 grams. So since mas ang tinatanong, then ang sagot natin will be 11 grams. Paano natin nakuha yung 11 na sagot? You just add the number of your proton with the number of your neutron to get the mass number of a specific element. Okay, so that's all for our video today. This is just a tutorial on how you compute the value of electron, neutron, and protons. So I hope to see you again on my next video for the next class. And that's all. Goodbye! Don't forget to subscribe on my channel if you're not yet subscribed with my video lessons.